Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Deiser. I'm here with my Damie Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just a few quick health and wellness stories to review today. We've got some good ones. I want to get right into what's going on in the news today. New York Times someone wrote from the New York Times an article about a natural cure for Lyme disease. Lyme disease has increased over the last few years. I think mainly because of diagnostic techniques have been improved. So people are getting some explanation for why they're having all these really crazy symptoms and such debilitating experiences. However, the issue has been that the conventional treatment doesn't really work. It's 6 months of antibiotics usually, and the success rate isn't very good. It sucks. It's scary.
They call it a rich person disease.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because the diagnostic techniques are extremely expensive.
And the treatments.
And the treatments are even worse. Anyhow, this story really piqued my interest because it brought up something I didn't really know about. And it's getting to the root cause of Lyme disease.
Okay.
Now, this isn't a treatment you consume. This treatment is helping the population of wolves and cougars.
What?
Yeah, I know. So what's happened here in British Columbia is...
Oh my gosh.
I know.
My brain
just clicked in. I know. As soon as I read it, I thought, oh my gosh, we got to bring this up because...
Oh my gosh, my brain just followed the thing. Okay, go.
Here in British Columbia, we have an issue currently with wolf population, and certain groups of people have decided it's a good idea to kill wolves and bring the population down because the population is growing.
And the population of?
The population of, what is it? It's not deer, it's...
Elk.
Elk and a few other animals has been reduced, and they want to save those animals by reducing the wolf population. Anyways, it's a huge debate in our province, and I don't know, it's just a really messy debate to get involved in. Anyhow, in other parts of North America, including the Northeast and the Midwest, wolf and cougar populations are down, and deer populations are up. And deer ticks, of course, are increased, and therefore Lyme disease is increased.
And that's where we get Lyme disease. Right.
So this is a theory that's going around right now, and one of the possible mechanisms of action here for improving outcomes for humans would be to replenish the wolf and cougar population, which has been depleted.
Or here's what is even a better idea. Like I say every time this debate about the wolves comes up, let nature do her thing. Perhaps, the wolf population is increasing right now, and perhaps in these certain very specific areas, the deer population is going down because maybe Mother Nature is righting herself.
Right. Exactly.
I hate it when we think we're more intelligent than nature.
Yeah.
I find it's one of the most obnoxious human qualities.
And these wolf calls have gone on in other places.
I can't talk about them.
And now, after this article has come out, I bet there's going to have to be some regret if you're so hyper-focused on...
The sickest part is it seems like these people that have these ideals are usually not, scientists or people that even have any type of education. They're usually politicians that are in bed with certain companies and that profit from the certain outcome. So they get very righteous in their in their solutions, and then they'll never even consider or look at another. That's what I find so obnoxious.
And then things like Lyme disease skyrocket. I mean, it's...
yeah, when you said that, I followed it in my brain, and I bet that's true.
Yeah.
I just think nature is brilliant. Obviously, it's perfect. And if we can stop messing with it...
I agree. I mean, we've had situations in British Columbia where wolves have been killed, and then our Lyme disease at the same time we've seen Lyme disease skyrocket.
Gosh, what a brilliant theory.
So I'm sure it's happening in other regions as well, and it's something we need to consider.
True or not, it's a brilliant theory that should be investigated.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And, of course, it's getting at the root cause. It's prevention, which we talk about for so many different things, but this is something that's sort of out of the box, but it really shouldn't be. We shouldn't be focused on reducing large populations of animals or messing with Mother Nature's.
No.
The problem, one of the other things that we have to consider is in major cities, or when you're getting closer to town, deers seem to do better than wolves. Wolves are kind of stay away.
Yeah.
And deer don't really care around here. They hang out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another issue. Anyhow, I just thought it was interesting.
Very, very interesting.
I've got another one, and this one, obviously not as intense, but still, I think, relevant to talk about. It's about standing desks.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
I have a standing desk.
I have a sitting desk.
For all of those who don't know, and at one point in time I talked about it a lot, to the point where maybe it was a bit annoying.
Mm-hmm.
In Texas, they just ran a study with children, and they divided them into multiple groups among different schools, and they gave some kids the option to use a standing desk. And with the standing desk, you got this really high stool, so you could lean, or you could choose to stand. And then they tracked changes over the course of a few years with the kids. They compared it with the schools where they just remained with the sitting desks. And of course, the schools that had the standing desks, BMI went down, and there was improvements in learning.
I bet the children would move more too.
Yeah.
Because children, when they stand, they shift a lot. They
do, yeah. The thing that interests me about that, because that's the first thing I thought too, thinking of kids that we know.
That's what I was saying. I just pictured them. But it wouldn't be obnoxious, but when I see, like, when I just shut my eyes and picture my nephews standing at their counter, they're shifting, they're moving.
Yeah.
And when they're sitting, they're sitting.
It turned out, even with the shifting and moving, they were able to hold their focus and even learn better.
Oh yeah, I don't mean that would interrupt what I'm saying.
But I was thinking it might.
Oh, I guess my brain was going more towards coming from an industry where I had to stand some days in the past for long periods of time, and then other days I would be up and down. The days where I was up and down, it was actually easier on my body, as in my joints. Right. The days that I had to physically just stand and do certain services, I found it very hard on my body.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to move a bit.
Oh my gosh, do you ever? And that's why I thought it was interesting that they gave them these standing stools.
Yeah.
So you could lean and you could sort of sit, but you could also stand if you wanted to.
I think kids are just more in tune with their intuition and natural rhythms, and I think they would move and shift and you know, more than adults where we're scared what people would think.
Definitely.
If we're in a public setting, we stand still.
Absolutely. I think it's a really interesting concept and a concept that could be applied widespread if the long-term results are good. I mean, it was a 3% reduction in BMI over the course of a couple of years, which is pretty good.
What I think all adults should do.
What do you think?
Is the all-day workout.
The all-day workout is key.
Perfect for office life.
I mean,
you can listen to it. I've done it. We did a full podcast on it. It's labeled My Secret, the all-day workout. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it works.
It works.
There's an issue with... there's multiple issues with sitting all day, of course.
Yes.
It's terrible for your health. Just terrible.
Yes.
And within every hour, you should be getting up for at least 10 minutes, and it just doesn't happen. I mean, no matter if you set goals or a lot of people who... Like, I sit a lot during my work. But I have this natural rhythm of flow where when a patient comes or a patient goes, I'm up and I'm moving.
Right.
A lot of occupations don't have that. It's constant, and you have to get yourself going. Every hour at least, you need to get up and get around. So in certain circumstances, I think standing desks could be beneficial, especially with this modified seated situation with the lean or the stool. Or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And especially with children, I think that, we need to modify some things about our education system, and we need to evolve.
I completely agree. I think this is a nice evolution. But I really like the aspect of learning capacity improved and the ability to focus was still good and these type of things, because it's important. Obviously, health-wise, we want to think about the physical, but the mental, emotional, and the brain changes are also extremely important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, pretty cool. The next one I wanted to talk about today, or at least bring up, was some more studies about omega-3s are coming out this week. In the last few years, maybe a few of you, or most of you, have probably heard that there was a major trial that said omega-3s don't do anything. And then right after that, a trial showed that omega-3s in postmenopausal obese women can prevent breast cancer, which was an excellent study because so many people are in that category of people. But this study that showed that omega-3s don't do anything, the doses were extremely low, it was a poor design study, we hate it.
The study was flawed.
It was super flawed. And
it was kind of like saying drinking water doesn't do anything, but what the study would have been is, say, rounding up a bunch of people to take a shot glass of water a day, and then just saying water does nothing. Like that, it's just like there was no... the type of omega, the quality, the quantity, everything was off. So it was just a silly study.
So the media went wild with it.
Well, of course. Media loves a negative, supplements are crap, pharmaceuticals are best headline. Well,
the good thing is researchers didn't calm down with their omega-3 studies. They're still going, and they're still doing well. There's still lots of small trials that show benefit for multiple things. The first one that I saw today was about... stroke-induced brain damage in mice. So it's an animal study, and it showed that when there is a stroke, when there's oxidative damage in the brain because of a lack of blood flow or damage to the blood vessels in the brain, if they gave omega-3s, there was improvement. So this is really important because we know that omega-3s have a significant impact as an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory in the brain. So we have these situations where we can test and see how these changes post-stroke can be improved by omega-3, and it showed there was benefit. So it's interesting to note and very important to see these kind of things. Now they need to move on, and of course you do a big trial with big doses in humans. This study was injected omega-3, and it's not something we do. So we need to use these well-absorbed omega-3s and do a big trial with stroke patients. I'm really interested to see that. Because this shows great positive benefit. We use omega-3s to improve brain function all the time. One of the key areas that many of you are probably familiar with, that we talk about a lot, is for mood balancing in children. We use something called DHA, which is a type of omega-3. This other study I was reading today that just recently came out was about children with aggression, giving them high doses of DHA. It was very successful in reducing their aggressive behavior over the course of 3 months. Long term, over the course of 6 months, the changes, it was hard to predict if they were maintained. But this was a large trial. There was hundreds of kids involved. It's hard to say what else in life had changed at that time, and how if the protocols were followed exactly. The point was, in 3 months of follow-up, reductions in aggression and irritability, anger, anxiety, all these things with these kids were reduced by taking DHAs, so omega-3s. So we know in humans there is significant impact on the brain when you're doing this anti-inflammatory therapy. I don't know. I love omega-3s. I mean, you talk about it all the time with respect to this North American diet that we have being so high in omega-6s, and multiple reports saying that can be inflammatory and lead to increased oxidative damage because of this imbalance.
That's the exact way I put it. I break it down a bit more simply, but that is exactly what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, yours is much clearer than mine. Stop eating so much red meat. Stop eating deep fried foods. We're consuming too many bad fats and not enough good fats.
I know.
And then when you speak about a vegan diet and just reducing your meat consumption, these omega-3 levels start to normalize. Nuts and seeds, lean meats like fish.
But you have to be careful where you're getting these things now.
Of course you do, yeah. A lot of people will automatically go to consuming too much tuna. Or too much
nuts.
Too much nuts, it can be an issue as well.
For people, especially because what can pile on there, you hear nuts and seeds are good, and then people go a little crazy, and then their bowels get backed up, their digestion gets off. Everything has to be balanced. There's no, the day of cutting out a food group and just, losing weight is over.
I agree.
The Atkins crap is over. It's done.
Yeah, it's
we
done.
need to all move on and just focus more on health.
And what you normally start with is a reduction in meat consumption. You're not saying all meat is bad. I mean, maybe you are. Maybe you are. I shouldn't put words in your mouth. Maybe you are.
No, but I don't believe that everyone has to jump on the train fully.
No.
Right away. I think we're all on our own path. But the fact of the matter is, I don't care if you, if you do eat meat, I'm not going to argue with you or make you feel shamed or bad.
Of course not.
But it has to be reduced because today in the North American diet, we are grossly over-consuming meat. It was never supposed to be consumed like this. It was never supposed to be factory made. It was never supposed to be so readily available for every meat of every meal.
No, it just doesn't make sense.
It's not
Naturally,
good.
No, it's not. And it's potentially, it can be inflammatory for many, many, many people. And the effects on the cardiovascular system.
But people act like it's like talking about religion. You can't, it's just on it. Like, I'm just being honest.
I know. And when you say reduce your nut intake or be careful about your nut intake, a lot of people will take that very seriously, but then eat meat for lunch and dinner every single day.
Yeah.
And this is why I think it's really important to start with the high intake of meat in terms of improving overall lifestyle, improving overall health.
Yeah, bring it down.
It's just what I think.
Yep.
And there's lots of trials that show it's helpful. So
yep.
That's Healthy Rebel Radio for today. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And if you'd like to get our episodes to your inbox once per week, sign up to our newsletter at DamiHealth.com. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamiHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamiHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamiHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at DamiHealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.